Good morning. Thank you. It's a good morning back there. Nice. Scott, hello. Always hate to break up good conversation, but in the interest of time, wanted to get going. My name is Greg Barrett. I am the Vice President of the Strategic Growth Team here at Communitech, and what that team does is manage the programming and the relations with all of our startups and all of our scale-ups, for whom sales is certainly a key topic. Today, we're very happy to welcome the founder of Winning by Design and the author of Blueprints for a SaaS Sales Organization, Jacco vanderKooij. Before I introduce him a little bit further, there are a couple things I want to do. First of all is to thank our sponsors, which include the Government of Ontario, the Government of Canada, BlackBerry Key 2, Polsinelli, RBC, TD Insurance, and MNP, all of which are listed up on the sides. Second thing, and indulge me on this one if you wouldn't mind. Most of you know this event came up really in the last week and a half. Jacco was in Toronto and contacted Ian Klugman, our president, CEO, and asked if there would be an opportunity. And so the magic then ensued. The people that walk around and make that magic happen are our events team. And generally speaking, the events team doesn't get any love. They're completely focused with microphones and colored shirts and making sure that all of the things happen. So if you wouldn't mind, please put your hands together and thank our events team. Unsung heroes. So with that, let me get back to Jacco. Winning by Design is the premier provider of sales as a science, strategy consulting, and coaching programs trusted by over 250 sales and high-velocity sales organizations, including Adobe, Adderall, and Zenefits. The firm is headquartered in Menlo Park, California, with global offices in Europe, China, Brazil, Australia, and now Canada, with an office in Toronto to support companies locally. Jacco is the youngest of 8 children, raised in a small farmer's village in the Netherlands, where he had the opportunity to represent his country in 2 world marathons. He now lives and works in the Valley, helping hundreds of companies design and build highly scalable sales organizations. Following Jacco's 40-minute presentation, there will be some time for a brief Q&A, so as you listen, start thinking about your questions. And with that, please welcome Jacco vanderKooij.
Folks, selling is no longer an individual sport. It is a team sport. I'm going to take you through some of these concepts. We're going to talk about why we do it, how we do it, and what we do. I'm going to go pretty fast in these things, so stop me, ask a question, raise a hand, write it down, and I will answer that either post the conversation or during if it's super relevant. What we see down here is a sales funnel. Typical 3 stages, starting awareness, education, and then selection. There's a 4th stage down here that is onboarding. In SaaS, this 4th stage is super important because essentially I need to get the customer to a life value. However, if we use a perpetual sales model, which is what the market is built on, we generally see most of that revenue coming up front. If I compare this against a modern SaaS model, we see that the primary revenue sits at the back end, to the point of 75% of that revenue sitting at the back end. Although many of you will recognize this and say, yes, I know that, almost none of you, or most people, do not understand the underlying business model behind it, or are moving their resources actively in tune with where the revenues are generated. This is the Achilles heel of SaaS. And the number one thing that most companies still work on is customer acquisition, logo acquisition, winning the client, getting the first purchase order. However, as many of you will have started to realize at some point, the leads are becoming thinner. It's harder to get them. And who generates the best opportunity and the best leads? Customers. Now, what I'm going to take you through is a few specific things that have happened. One of the key things is that B2B sales cycle traditionally used to be between 9 and 18 months. And they have collapsed into anywhere from a few days to a few months. Right now, we're in September. If you look at conferences like a Dreamforce, nobody in Dreamforce is looking for a solution that they want to deploy in the start of 2020. Yet at another show called the IBC, held in Amsterdam, a broadcast show, where people are making large infrastructure purchases, they are looking for a 12 to 18-month implementation map. Two very different trade shows. Because this window has collapsed, under speed, when we start to do things faster, problems start to occur. Now, what we're going to see down here on the left is what we call the superstar model, also known as the rainmaker, the whale hunters. These are the people on the left, wherein generally 20% of the people generate 80% of the revenue. This is called the Pareto Model, and most B2B sales organizations work on that. Essentially, what has happened is, the moment in time I'm selling multi-million-dollar deals, I only need to close a few deals every year. Vince Murdica closed a $10 million deal with Disney on a $12 million quota. That's good stuff. You very quickly get to quota. What has happened is, since we have started to drop price further and further and further, the superstars can no longer carry the load of the number. The impact that they are having is becoming less and less. They're becoming immune. The market is becoming immune to the superstars. Now guess what? If 20% of my people generate 80% of my revenue, what is the remaining 80% of the people doing? How much revenue? Anybody? Table up front. If 20% does 80%, what is the remaining 80% doing? 20%. Straight up question, right? Okay. So the 80% is doing 20%. Now, my 20% of the superstars can only generate 20% of the business. What is my remaining 80% of the people doing? 80%. That group of B performers, ordinary people, that previously did 20%, suddenly has to do 80%. Folks, today's sales organizations, since there are superstar immune, your SaaS businesses, you have become dependent on B performers who have to outperform their predecessors by 4 times. This is the reason why so many sales organizations fail. They don't get this. And so they're thinking, well, what if I hire another superstar? Well, in the early revenue, that is potentially possible. But as the revenue keeps growing and growing, you cannot keep hiring superstars. They're simply not available. Next point. Methodology. Think of the following. If I'm going to go inside any standard organization, I'm going to ask the marketer, marketing, who's in marketing down here? I tricked you before. I knew there were some marketers, but now you know I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. If I would ask somebody from marketing, what kind of methodology you subscribe to? The most common thing we nowadays hear is kind of like an ABM methodology. And if I ask the sales organization, what do you subscribe to? Maybe I get an answer of solution selling or consultative selling. If I ask the customer success organization, what do you subscribe to? I get no answer these days. There is no answer for customer success, no clear methodology. Folks, isn't it odd that all these people, all along this funnel, all engage with customers all the time, and there's no common methodology or lack of a methodology? There's nobody knows how to communicate to one another on the next topic? Now, what we see down here is the methodology where we say, like, what if we take it from a customer-centric point of view? I'm going to take you through these 6 stages. Stage number 1, I got a problem. Now, I was in London at the, where was the hotel? I was in London at the Hilton Hotel, and I'm trying to get to the airport from downtown London. I'm asking for a cab. And the cab says to me, sir, I can't take you. Highway 5 is locked up in a traffic accident, and I'm not going to take you because you're going to be bickering and moaning in the back of my car. I got a problem. I got a big problem. And as I stand there arguing with the cab whether you should take it or not, the concierge of the Hilton walks over and says, sir, what are you trying to do? I explain the situation. He says, you should take the London Heathrow Express. Aha, solution. As I take the London Heathrow Express, as I go down there and I try to buy the ticket, cheaper, a lot cheaper. Cab is going to cost me 58 quid. And the Heathrow Express was 18 quid, but first class, 28 quid. Okay? Well, I thought I'd treat myself. So then I go like, I get in I get on the train, like beautiful experience, arrive on time, expected, well within budget, right? And I go like, boom, I'm there, great experience. As I walk around at the airport, I buy something nice for my wife, for the kids. I go like, yeah, I'm gonna make it. And as the airplane takes off, I go like, oh my gosh, why do no other people know about the London Heathrow Express? Why do I have to find this out? These are 6 experiences. If we continue to create our funnels and our way how we treat our customers based on the way how we view it, we're not gonna have a uniform methodology. We need to do it from their perspective. In this case, I use these 6 ways. I have a problem. Aha, there's a solution. Wow, these folks really helped me with selecting the right solution. Boom, delivered on time as promised. Yeah, I got what I wanted. I got the impact. Oh my gosh, why did I not know about this before? I need to buy some more. These are 6 experiences. That's the methodology, because now I can tell everybody in your department what you're responsible for. What we see in this methodology is that there's traditionally 3 different kinds of sales techniques. Number 1, solution selling. Solution selling is when you come to me and you already know what your problem is. You already kind of like know what the solution are. You're looking for 2 or 3 different solutions. And then you come to me and say like, hey, how do you fit in? This is referred to as solution selling. And in generally, what am I doing during solution selling is telling you about my strengths and weaknesses, my features and my benefits. Strong case of solution selling. There's consultative selling. If you come to me to solution selling, you already know what you already know what that my solution is. But what if you didn't find my solution? I need to go to you and tell you I have a solution. That is called consultative selling. Now, consultative selling often has to do with an RFP and an RFQ. You generally run a strike it before they write the RFQ and so on. But now you need to know your problem. The problem is, most of us are in innovation. Innovation means you do not know the problem you're having yet. Because you do not know the problem you're having yet, which I'm trying to innovate, I need a new technique called provocative selling. The most well-known version of provocative selling is challenger sales. And what it is, it establishes and it provokes the customer in telling them and saying, you're thinking about your problem the wrong way. You're thinking about it, let me help you think about it in a different way. Provocative selling. Now what we see is that we're missing something they're covering all kind of blocks. But they're not covering the blocks where a few slides ago I said where most of the revenue is being made. And that is going to become an issue. What we're going to see down here is that we're going to split different roles. This is called a highly specialized organization, more and more. You may have one AE doing closing, an SDR doing the outbound, an MDR doing the inbound. This is a specialized organization. The problem is, because we now need such high technology and such high capability in our sales force, we can no longer depend on a single person. We need to cover end to end. Everybody needs to talk to the customer. Everybody is involved in selling. Not a single person, everybody is selling. The CSM is selling, the account manager, the account executive, everybody is selling. Now, this is the reason why we need to start thinking about sales as a team sport. We need to consider, if everybody's selling, if we're not covering the back end, we need to start thinking, how can we create a team element out of this? But the problem with the team element is it comes with a little bit of complication. It's really hard to do. Now, in LA, there's a hotel, and it's called the Magic Castle. Any chance that anybody has ever heard of the Magic Castle? I'm not going to make you talk. I just want to see, yes, you heard of it. You know what the popsicle hotline is? Okay. The Magic Castle is in a hotel in LA, and it is rated as a top-star hotel. It is rated alongside Four Seasons and all the hotels. Now, when you see it, it's a really ordinary hotel. It has nothing special. Actually, it has a very small swimming pool. And because they had a small swimming pool, and the rooms are very mundane too. But what they created is they created a popsicle hotline. There's a red phone hanging on the wall next to the pool. When you pick up that phone, and all of you will be Googling, I know many of you will be Googling this later on and telling your children, your family, and your friends about this. When you pick up the phone, within 30 seconds, somebody says, popsicle hotline, what kind of taste do you want? You can pick from 3 tastes: orange, grapefruit, and vanilla. 3 popsicles. When you can pick from them, they show up on a tray. Within like 2-3 minutes, somebody serves them to you. This has gotten so much attention, you can't get a room at a hotel. The popsicle hotline. Here's what the challenge that we found. I just depicted a little bit of a problem for you. Hey, we got all these complications. We got no methodology. We got all these people who are working together. Holy smokes. I need to solve this. Here's how you're not going to solve it, folks. You're not going to solve it by measuring if I opened my email rate. You're not going to solve it by checking if I clicked on my reply and I clicked and opened the whatever link, okay? If I open up the slide deck you send me, you're not going to make me more successful by you knowing on which slide I spent more seconds. Oh, he spent 36 seconds on slide 4. He must be interested. What we are doing and what is happening to the entire world because of technology, we have literally started to helicopter parent all our customers. We want to know whatever they do, whenever they do it. It's not about that. It's about a few key moments where you truly engage with your customer. If you do those right, then they're going to be great. Okay? What I'm going to show to you is we're going to pick 7 key moments. If I improve 7 key moments that are in sequence by each other, and I'm going to improve them by 10%. 10% improvement to the power of 7 equals double your sales. Stop micromanaging your customers. Focus on 7 key moments and make those key moments count. I'm going to give you is the 7 key moments that we've determined across all. Now, these 7 key moments I give you, I don't want you to go back and say, these are the moments. I got them. They're mine. I'm going to use them. I'm going to have them. No, please apply common sense. Okay? Like, your customer may have different key moments, okay? So I'm just giving you these 7 key moments. Fair enough? Later on you come like, Jacco, I don't discover in my... I got it. Okay, you're different. Pick 7 key moments. Here's the 7 key moments. Number 1, reach out to your customers because they have a pain, not because they're a fit. I can run this exercise with startups, scale-ups. I can do whatever I want. Every time I ask you folks, why did you reach out to that customer? And generally what I hear is, well, they're in Ottawa, and they're 500 people big, and LinkedIn says this is the director of XYZ. That's a fit, people. You do not reach out to people who are a fit because you're not relevant to them. You reach out to people who have a pain. I noticed that you recently talked on Twitter that you have a pain. How can I help you with this? Reach out to people who have a pain, not to people who are a fit. Second, when you reach out to them, have a conversation. Most of what we find out there that is happening is people are qualifying. Now, qualifying, does anybody familiar with the qualifications system called BAND? Okay. Qualifying, I'm going to ask you, do you have money? Yes. Are you the right person to make the decision? Yes, I am. You got money and the right person. I love you, man. Do you got a problem? Dude, I have a pain this big. Oh, you got a pain, you got a, like you have money and you're the decision maker. May I ask, when are you looking for a solution? You know what? October 1st looks to be a great day to me. Great. What has happened if I gave you 1st of October, I have a pain, I gave you a budget, and I'm the decision maker. Well, there's a lot of things that happened, but the only thing that I didn't give my customer is value. I got everything. I got who you are. I got nothing. The customer got nothing in return from it. This is the reason why we need to learn how to have a conversation and not a qualification. Qualification has a very discriminatory feel to it. There is no more there's no more feeling that somebody feels discriminated than when you ask the person, may I ask, are you the decision maker? Like, dude, I'm about to be discriminated on whether I'm a decision maker or not, right? Like, yes, I'm really not. Yes, I am. For today I am. Right now I am. Questions don't really matter. It's the wrong question. You shouldn't be asking that question anyway. Next topic, diagnose. What we find is that most people are practicing still the pitch. Jacco, here's the pitch deck. Literally, we have nothing but customers. They want to, can you help us with the pitch deck? Folks, it's not about pitching. If I want to learn about your problem, if you're my customer, if I'm learning about your problem, what do I need to do? How do I get to know your problem? Ask questions. Okay, if I'm pitching, what am I not doing? I'm not asking questions. And so you can't pitch. The pitching is essentially, it is good to train a pitch so that you have memory on what your value is of your service. I get that, but you can't pitch. You got to learn how to diagnose. In order to learn how to diagnose, you got to learn how to ask questions. In order to learn how to ask questions, you need to know the difference between open and closed-ended question, situational and pain question, and so on. Asking questions. Trade. Trade. It is important that you learn not to negotiate. For those of you here in sales and those of you in charge of a company, if you have a SaaS offering, discounts do not exist. They're not there. They're a phantom of a person's imagination. There is no discount, folks. To give you an idea, I was selling you a $2 million piece of software about 10 years ago. I'm now giving that to you at $50,000 a year. I already discounted a lot, okay? There is no discount. Now you need to make price adjustments. Good. Price adjustments. I get it. Trade. Trade. All of you have problems with leads? Trade for a lead. And not by saying, write these words down for those of you in sales. You're not going to say the following. Do you know anybody else who you could refer me to? No. You're going to say, do you know anybody else who can benefit from a solution like this? With value. Trade. For those of you in management, VCs and so on, look at the discount of all the deals that closed over the last year. Look at the discount given. If I'm going to see, if I would be on your board and I see 20%, 15%, 20%, 25%, 20%, 20% discount, I know I got a discount issue. Here's what I want to see per deal. 8%, 7%, 6%, 9%. I don't want to see holes of 10, 20% discount. In a second, in churn, we're going to measure it in single-digit percentages. And we're giving double-digit percentages away at the discount. There is no discounting, but there is trading. Trading, trading, trading. If the customer says, you know what, I need you to drop from 20,000 to 15,000, sure. Would you be willing to commit to a 2-year deal paid up front? No. Okay, good. You said no. Customer said no. I didn't say no. Trade, trade, trade. Next one. Again, these are all hot ones. If you are building a service that needs to be onboarded, in other words, the customer needs to sign up, normally what happens is customer signs the contract, goes over to customer success picks up the phone, thank you for the contract, can you give me the credentials, let me log you in. We're onboarding. It's not about onboarding. What happened on Friday when we closed the deal is you and I sat on opposite sides of the table. On Monday, we're best friends. I need to make you successful. Therefore, the relationship changes. You need to redo the deal on Monday. You need to orchestrate out the next 30, 60, 90 days. A whole new world has opened up. If sales walks away from the deal on Friday and says, thank you very much for closing. Folks, in baseball, I don't stop on contact. On ice hockey, I don't stop on contact. Everybody knows in every sport, in order to be successful, go through it, don't stop on contact. Key thing, your sale goes all the way through to the orchestration point. Next one up, impact. Many of us measure what the usage is of our product. Are they logging in? How often are they logging in? How many people are logging in? It's usage. Usage is a sign of me as a seller. It's a self-centered indication. It doesn't get the customer anything. The customer doesn't wake up happy in the morning and say, you know what? I got 12 people to log in today. It was really good. No. Impact is what's being achieved. What was the result? To give you an idea, on an Uber, I don't buy the experience of being in an Uber. I buy the experience of getting to my destination. So too needs your product to be viewed. Impact, not usage. Last one, growth. There are 4 growth patterns. For those of you who are involved in customer success, renewal, upsell, cross-sell, and resell. 4 new patterns. Under renew, I can extend the contract. I don't have to renew at 12 months. I can renew at 9 months. I don't have to renew at the same price. I can renew at an increased price. I don't have to renew primarily just for the sake of renewal. I can go like my folks, there's new functionality. Renew is not just the way that you go like, oh, same contract, same size. You can increase that contract, grow. What we're going to talk about, or what we have a solution for here, is called the SaaS sales methodology. A methodology that covers all the way from the left to all the way to the right. It's a uniform methodology that tackles all these 7 key moments, because these key moments need to interact with each other. Now, I'm going to point out the simple thing that they interact with each other on. Impact. In the beginning, I'm reaching out to clients who have a pain because I can impact their business. Then, I'm going to have a conversation about the pain they're experiencing and what impact that they need. Then I'm going to discover the quality and the quantity of that impact, and I'm going to trade on the impact. Then I'm going to orchestrate to get them to the impact. I'm going to get them to make sure that they achieve the impact, and once they achieve the impact, I'm going to try to sell them more. Folks, all your customers are buying as impact. And it's the same old story why you go to a Home Depot in order to buy a hammer. No, you want to hang the painting, right? Same story there. Now, what you see down here is that more and more, in order to implement this methodology, we are using different roles all across the organization. These are small sales teams, we call them pods. In these pods, one person delivers value to the other person. It is a team spirit that perseveres down here. If I go back only a few years, if I go back to say, give or take 2005, 6, 7, 8, like it was all about individual contributors. There's different kind of pod structures that you can deploy. We can talk to you later on more about it. What to do? What you see down here is what we call a blueprint. What we are implementing and what we are learning from companies, that today's organizations are run by a younger generation. What we had with the older generation in sales, they didn't want to take advice. They were not exchanging a lot of helps. The younger people really are. The fresh and modern sales organization, they really are sharing experiences. What you see down here is what is called the blueprint. This blueprint takes you step by step, turn by turn, what do you need to do? Ask situation questions, then ask pain questions, summarize. So, Mr. Customer, if I heard it right, you have this situation causing you that pain. Yes, says the customer. Great. I respond, you're not the first. I hear this all the time. It actually reminds me of Jennifer, ran into the same problem. I show empathy. Then I may ask, now Jennifer, really this impacted her business this way. May I ask, are you looking for the same kind of impact? Within a few seconds, 60 to 2 minutes, we are able to diagnose a customer. The same way how a doctor diagnoses when you step into their office. The same way how your car mechanic diagnoses your situation. This, people, is the key skills, not only of sales folks, of every customer-facing role. Learn how to ask a question, to listen, to summarize. The basic skills need to be taught again and again. Now, what we see in modern ways, we cannot just deploy standard training. We cannot just go and I cannot say to this table, I'm your trainer for today, I'm going to train you. Doesn't work. As you may have known or heard from a person called Simon Sinek, we live in a new generation. They don't want to be trained. So instead what we do, we now learn how to coach. We give people a blueprint and we tell a table, solve it, you folks solve it. By starting to collaborate with each other while giving them a blueprint, they actually start to cooperate with each other, sharing best practice and saying this blueprint is wrong on this point. Great. Love it. Why is it wrong? Oh, fix it. Process of these blueprints is really, really key. What we see today is that sales leaders, more and more, we are moving from the very self-centered kind of approach, the alphas, to a very selfless kind of approach. More to the right, more to the blue approach. And in the blue approach, you lead by example. You give true examples. You embrace people. If somebody says to me, Jacco, I have trouble with an email, you don't say hey, here's a book, go read it. You go oh, where is it? You got to help them. The new leaders, sales leaders that we see per today, if you cannot do what you're asking your team to do, you're probably in challenge as a sales leader. If you cannot do what you're asking your people to do, the other thing also happens. And get ready, folks, for those of you who are managing younger sales generation. I'm a younger salesperson. You know what? You gave me this tool to do email. Thank you. Love the tool. Actually, I'm freaking love tools. Second, you gave me an email template. Boom! Template. Tool, hallelujah, let's get cranking. Okay, results, 0. You're fired. Ditsky, why am I fired? I used the tool you told me. I used the template you told me. And I applied it to the database you told me. What did I do wrong? That's right. What did I do wrong? Folks, this is the key. We can no longer just give them the tools and the templates and expect that they perform. We absolutely have to coach them when and what not to do. This knowledge that we have about sales and how to communicate with customer needs to be translated to everybody in sales. It cannot just be tool, template equals no leads. The way to coach is 10% classroom, 20% coaching, 70% in the field. Not sales kickoff once a year, 2 years and 2 days in January. Good luck with you. We'll see you in December and how you hold up. 10-27. Spend good time in the classroom, coaching and on the job. Now, how would you do that? Coaching is what we primarily do is role play. If there would be a more longer time, I would literally have 3 people come up on stage who would role play it, and then you would go like, but role play is we literally role play the scenario. Every problem that we're being solved, we verbalize, we write emails verbally, we verbalize everything. Every problem we resolve. There's 4 rejections. No time, no interest, not now, already have something. Okay? These are the 4 objections everybody runs into. Wouldn't it be good if we role play this every day, or at least once a week, twice a week? There's a number of things. Customer always have the same infrastructure in play. We need to role play that. Everything needs to be role played. In this case, 4 people in the room. Some of you, or those of you who have seen the Adobe press release of us, this is being implemented by Adobe over the past months. It has now taken on such a strain that, or such a dimension. If a vice president goes to a local division and he is in a local group, he or she has to actually participate in the role play. That is how they're like, oh, where's the role play this week? Okay, we're going to go here. Now, in order to do role play, we've what we call, I want you to think daily, weekly, monthly. Set a monthly goal that you want to accomplish. This month, I want to learn how to diagnose. My team needs to learn how to ask questions. Therefore, this week, we're going to learn how to ask diagnostic questions using open and closed questions. Therefore, today, we're going to do X, Y, Z. What we find commonly across organizations is 15 minutes every day. Every day. 15 minutes, short training, discussion on what works and what doesn't work. Folks, if they're not training on each other, guess who they're training on? Customers. Now, with that said, I want to give you like an opportunity to ask a few questions. Let me see, what time are we in? Good. Now, you've been quiet, so I'm going to trick you. Because the chances that I'm getting good questions, I'm going to give you a little bit of a trick. You folks have 2 minutes as a table, 2 minutes to discuss as a table what is the key question. I'm going to walk through the audience after 2 minutes. As a group, discuss 1 or 2 questions you want to ask me. Okay, as a table. Table discuss. You got 2 minutes. Discuss what question you want to ask me. Ready, set, go. Yes, this is a microphone. The X is the microphone. Ask a question. You had some questions. Go for it. Yes.
Jacco, thank you so much for being here. I love this microphone, much more comfortable, by the way. I'm quite curious with regards to your background, which is European, from Netherlands, and then you merged very nicely with Silicon Valley, US.
That's right.
So where do you see the differences there? So this is the first part, and then...
2 questions, okay,
and then as far as you're entering now Canadian market, what do you see from a Canadian perspective?
Yes. Okay. One of the key things I spoke about is that a lot of this has to do with communications. And communicating with other human beings, there's a lot of deep cultural involvement in there. For example, in America, we can send, in the US, we can send a message on LinkedIn saying somebody to invite after very shallow communication. Like in France, you would never do that. You would just not send somebody an invitation. Cultural difference. The other day I was teaching, I'm not kidding, half the room is Israeli and the other half the room is Spanish. and we're doing a negotiation training. And the person says, I have no budget. The folks in Israel says, no, 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 no. They're saying that because they want to have the fun of the game of negotiating. The Spanish go like, no, dude, our companies literally have no budget, right? So completely two different directions. Cultural difference is super important because it's a communication skill that we primarily do. Role play, therefore, is once again super important. And so when we train, sometimes people say, Jacco, you go with the wind. I go like, dude, I don't go with the wind. These 4 people are French, and they tell me it would never work. Would I then tell them it would work? No, I trust them. But I get the concept. The concept of LinkedIn is I'm trying to build a connection with you. The concept of me asking you a question is I'm trying to learn about your problem. Which specific words did you do? That is up to you and with your cultural differentiation. And the second part, in Canada, we have to recognize that in a multicultural language, a multicultural society, coming from the Netherlands, we speak 3 per definition, right? You'll be raised with German, it's just whatever TV you get served, it drives your culture. And so what you see is the time that people speak multiple languages, their brains are wired differently. They're more communicative. So as soon as I see a person has the ability to communicate in 2 languages, which of course in this part of the world often French and English, then I know the person may have a different way of approaching it, may have a different culture behind it. In Canada, I would not use the same cold outbound technique that gets shuffled to you from Silicon Valley. I would suspect that highly and do not go volume outbound email. Do not. Okay. Next one up, pick a table. You can pick it. You pick the one. Which table do you want? Oh my gosh, I'm going to run there. Okay, all the way on the other side. Okay, this table then. There we go. Pick a what question do you have?
Like, what's your favorite part of like the whole sales process? Like,
what is my favorite part of the old sales process primarily is all focused on building relationships. I thoroughly enjoyed what building relationship was, right? Folks down here. Question.
Where over time has role-playing not existed in organization, because throughout history, role-playing has been an important part to thriving companies?
I'm hard to find. I hear what you're saying. I have hard to see that over my career, I didn't role-play. What happened when I was, like if I go to the 2000 to 2010 period, role-playing was never an exercise we did with salespeople. However, because the sales cycle was 18 months, you had plenty of time to practice on your customer. If one meeting fell apart, it was not that big of a deal. Today, we have a short sales cycle, 60 to 90 days. These younger people are coming in with 18 months lead time career paths, 18 months, 2 years, 2.5 years. They don't have time to fail. Role play is needed to accelerate their learning. The other thing is happening. Sales previously was a very individual contributor role, which essentially meant I ran into that wall, bunk, go like, damn, there's a wall. You know what? I'm going to dig a tunnel under it. Okay, it doesn't work. I'm going to walk around it. I'm going to try to jump over it. I'm going to set it on fire. I was breaking down that wall. In order to do that, I had time. Now I say this table of 6, go break down the wall. You test the digging, you test the climbing, you burn it down, you run into it. Now 6 people can dissect what works and what doesn't work. But they have to work as a team. If I ask this gentleman to do nothing but figure it out, and when he's figured out, help the other 5, he's going to have ruined his opportunity. So role play was never there, but it was there, but it was when we did it with customers rather than in the boardroom and so on and so forth. Last question.
So what's the hardest part about transitioning from a traditional sales methodology to the one that you're suggesting, and what kind of pushback should we anticipate?
What is seriously, not in sales, coming to this and then asking the two, okay. Really good questions. I want you to feel accountable for it. They don't know. Everybody else don't know. You know now. You know that you need to do role play. They don't know yet. You now know why you need to role play. They don't yet. You know how you do that? Listen to the call. Record it. Okay, Canada, we may not record it on both sides. Record it on your side. I just want your side. I just want to hear what you're saying. Listen to the recording of a call with a customer. That's one. Second thing, what is the hardest way to implement it? We're currently working with a large company that I think is across the street. Andrew, the manager at that company, said the following: when I became a manager, I did it because I wanted to manage teams. I wanted to make people better. That's why I became a manager. Yet every day, every week, every month, a new operational thing was asked of me. Oh, can you write this extra report? Yes. And can you do this extra? And he said, after 4 years being a manager, all my coaching and supporting my team is gone. All I'm doing is reports. The operational has taken over my life from being a coach. That is accountable. You know what happened. And that is the thing that we deal with today. The role of a coach in teaching your sales team is not just kicking it over the fence and saying, hey, you're in sales, you're supposed to do it. Work as a team. Work together. Find each other's weaknesses. Nobody has to do this by themselves. Now, what we are here today is in a form of a community. We can share. This is a start. I always say to folks like you, is like, look, use these kind of communities. Use these kind of communities. Nobody says that if you only have one salesperson, there's no role playing. How many companies have one role salesperson down here? Can you meet up with 3 more? Can they group together? Can you guys do a sales workshop together? Role play, role play, role play? These are the little things. As a community, you need to solve this. We do believe that when you do that, that essentially you will be successful more than anything else. The time of shortcuts is over. Thinking that you can write a single email and send it to 1,000 people, those days are gone. What is now coming back is your ability to communicate with your customers. Your ability to listen, to find who has the right problem, to talk to them and have a conversation, to diagnose their problem, to present to them an official solution that actually benefits them and gets them the impact that they want. I believe that communities like this, when they get that, are the first ones to succeed. And I think that, given that opportunity today to speak to you, therefore, makes me very humble and appreciative. Looking forward to seeing you mingle a little bit for the next 15, 20 minutes. I want to thank you on behalf of the team down here for coming today and listening to me. For those of you who want to ask me a few questions, I'll hang around to answer a few personal questions. With that said, I want to thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much, Jacco. Did everyone love that? Awesome. So we have about 10 minutes. If you have any questions, Jacco can stay here, and then we're heading out. But I hope everyone has a great week. Thank you so much for coming out.